Good day, good evening, good morning. Hello, everybody. Mm-mm-mm. Today is July the 4th, 1776. Oh, wait a minute. That's a year that we're celebrating. I know it's the 4th of July. Some of you may be thinking I'm going to talk about that today, but I promise you part one of the Caitlin Clark story. The Caitlin Clark story that I've been talking about because I just can't let it go. However, this will come back to be discussed in terms of the 4th of July. I'm going to do an episode dealing with the 4th of July and again to revisit Juneteenth. There's some strong correlations between both of those dates and those historical moments for this country, but I believe in bringing truth to power. So, with all that said, I just want to continue this discussion of Caitlin Clark. It's very, very bothersome to me what has happened, and I've shared with you in the last episode my connection with Caitlin Clark and her coaches and family, so on and so forth. Not her family personally, but indirectly. But this is what I want to reiterate. This is the scene. This is the scene that we all remember. I showed this last episode. Caitlin Clark, the foul that was never called until a day later. I won't, Adrian Dross has a clip on this, but we must remember this, the word remember. Caitlin Clark had this happen to her. Coach Tibbetts of the Phoenix Mercury said after the game in a press conference, we will remember this. That was the first game they lost. Before this throat to her neck assault. We will remember this. And I'm just saying, when I hear someone say that, it's almost like a clarion call that we're going to do something about this next time. And they played them a couple days later. And this result that you see in the picture up top there with Alyssa Thomas to Caitlin Clark's throat. That, and I said in my last episode, if being a father, a grandfather, and a great grandfather, my daughters, or great granddaughters, or granddaughter was on a court, and I saw that, I would be livid. I repeat that. I said that last time. To see my daughter or granddaughters down on the ground like that with someone that's about 215 pounds bearing down on her. And the thing that is missing here, when Caitlin went down on the ground, DeWanna Bonner hit Caitlin in the chest with her right hand. With the right hand. And I said before, DeWanna Bonner's pose almost looks like a shielding pose. UDC held, she's trying to get Alyssa Thomas off of Caitlin Clark. Why would she do that? Why would she have her hands on her shoulder? She knew, Held knew that Alyssa Thomas was in a bad position and Caitlin being on the bottom. Alyssa Thomas, not only that, but she grew, her knee was targeted into Caitlin's groin area, which, last year Caitlin was out, played 13 games because she did have some groin injury, soft tissue issues in her groin. This is not a good look. And the words that the coach Tibbetts said was definitely not good words. I want to let you hear the seriousness of this situation that happened to Caitlin from the former uh, position of the Philadelphia 76ers, how he describes
When you're
this.
going high on stopping somebody when they're shooting it to the face with the throat, it's obvious. The throat that's a one-off. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But you can
Yes,
crush someone's
got to
larynx
be
with
woke.
very little pressure. 10 to 20 pounds of pressure can damage the throat or larynx area, which is why it's just it's off. You know, you just are not allowed in any sports to go there. And even if you don't fracture the larynx, it a blow to that area.
You hear that? You're not allowed in any sport to go to that area. He's talking about the larynx. He's talking about, you know, aspects of the throat. Keep listening to
You
this.
could get some swelling or bleeding and close the airway and get into a very rapid life or death situation. I wouldn't want to be the team doctor having to deal with that. That would be, you know, that's what keeps us up at night. Those kind of things that you have to respond to on the court. But so you know, she gets a lot to her face. Poked, she gets poked in the eye. She gets hit in the face, and they also with her 3-point shooting. That jump 3-point jumper, there's a lot of where they get in her space and her landing space. You see that way too often. And
He mentioned two incidents, Deja Nick Harrington and other people poking Caitlin in the eye, people closing in on her 3-point shot in the landing space, even in that game with Alyssa Thomas. The other player, I can't remember her name, but Caitlin's goes down. The girl, Caitlin comes down on the defender's foot. That could have led to a lot of injuries. And let's not get it twisted. Um, Alyssa
that's very,
Thomas
very
has
dangerous.
injured a lot of
Uh,
people. That's why
you
Nafisa
know, just
College is
getting
not
hit on the
playing.
head and hit across the head, you know, head injuries, concussions, any variety of things like that. Then you fall to the floor, and anything can happen then when you fall to the floor. So, uh, just not good and not necessary. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, they can guard her, they can double team her, they can do other things, but the refs have to call equally. If they're
Yes.
going if they want that style of play in the WNBA, if they want it to turn into hockey, uh, then just call it equally. But as
Hockey.
long as other players know that they can get away with things, it's going to keep happening. I don't think there's anything she can do. I mean, for injury prevention, there's a lot athletes do, you know, being in the best shape that they can be in. But once you're out there, I don't know how you avoid getting hurt in those kinds of situations. That's the thing. It's hard to protect yourself with those type of, and that's why they're flagrant fouls, right? There's no way to really protect yourself in those instances. Yeah, being fit, you know, having heads up, but she's not going to change her style of play. You'd hate to see that. And then that's where
Hockey, you can't protect yourself. Flagrant issues going on. It's happened since Caitlin joined the league. And I got some other things I want
whoever's
to
trying
talk
to shut her
about.
down or intimidate her wins. If she starts changing her style of play and gives up the ball quicker, doesn't want to take those kinds of shots, doesn't want to drive, then you know, then whoever is trying to slow her down or intimidate her has won. So I don't know. I don't know that there is any advice you can give somebody. It's not like you have protective padding that you can wear or change, you know, wear certain types of things like in football. If somebody gets rib injuries, you could put extra padding or a knee in. But it's I just don't know. Just be as fit as you can, be as smart as you can, and I mean, she takes it in stride. I don't think she brings any of it on herself. I don't think she's goes after people or tries to taunt. I mean, she like trash talk, yeah, taunt a little bit, but that's basketball. Nobody's going to get hurt with words. It's the physical abuse that concerns.
He made a good point. Caitlin, every basketball player, even my little games that I play, everybody talks trash. Everybody, that's part of the game. You talk trash. Caitlin has never, ever, ever become physical with anybody on the court. Think about that. She's never had a physical altercation. Some people say that Caitlin should just jump up and knock somebody out. Well, that's not in her character, but I think Caitlin's not a punk. She probably could knock somebody out. She's a strong young lady, but that's not in her character.
Me. I think they should be calling things. I think there should be fines or penalties if a player or a team does it a certain amount of times. If they're going to be like known for having enforcers or wanting to do
He
flagrant
said
fouls, a certain
they
amount
will
of them.
remember it.
I don't know what
Tibbet
their
said
rules
that.
are for that. If they have
Did he
rules for
set the
that,
stage for this?
like in the
I
NBA,
think
if there's
so.
a certain amount of flagrant fouls on a player, they're out, right? I'm not sure WNBA has that, but they can officiate better. The refs need to. I mean, how do they miss this? I mean, if she has the ball and she's this superstar, you'd think that more eyes would be on it and things could be called, but it doesn't seem that way. I mean, it was kind of funny. You probably saw it on Twitter that or on X that the makers of LASIK surgery. Did you see their post? They've been offering free LASIK to to the officials. I mean, that's crazy. But basically, it's like get more eyes on her and call stuff, start calling stuff, and maybe more fines if things are really egregious. More fines. The players have to feel it.
I like what he just said and all of that take. Um, the players have to feel it. And I think that when he talks about the players have to feel it, I think he's basically talking about that they have to really. Um, oh, sorry about that. They have to really start paying attention to what's going on with the team. You know, last time I talked about do you really the name of this episode, of course, is part two. Do you really know Caitlin Clark? Do you really know who Caitlin Clark? How many of you know? And the hate needs to stop towards others. They need to get this together. You know, Rodney King, that phrase after the terrible situation in LA when he said, "Can't we just all get along?" But do you remember Caitlin Clark? You know, I showed this last episode, and I want us to
always bring up Field of Dreams when you think Iowa and sports, but Scooby, in recent memory, it's all about
flash
Iowa
back again
basketball
until
and
it sinks
Caitlin
in.
Clark. That is facts. I mean,
She just
I
wanted to
lived
play
and
ball.
worked in Iowa for 3 years, and the people out there love their Hawkeyes, Otter. So when Caitlin Clark took center stage in the basketball world,
We're
it was
just
like
gonna be
watching one
woke,
of their
people.
own become a star.
This is
Here
part
are
of being
some
woke.
of Clark's best moments during her time in Iowa.
Guard, a 6'1" senior from West Des Moines, Iowa, number 22, Caitlin Clark.
All things are possible when Caitlin Clark has the basketball. A deep one.
That's her game. She's excitable. She really loves to play. That's what people remember. And that enthusiasm toward playing has never changed, even as she entered the WNBA.
Are you kidding me? Clark for the win. Yeah! She does it time and time again. Here comes Clark. How will she go for history?
Extended left. Clark comes off a screen, three-pointer.
This is amazing. Of course, that's my alma mater. I went to the University of Iowa.
College basketball history.
22 is now number one.
The record's broken this season for Caitlin Clark. Career points, single season points, career threes, single season threes. And Caitlin Clark
That's Lisa and Jan.
says goodbye to college basketball.
Kate Martin in the back there.
Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games, and we appreciate you.
I don't want my legacy
You heard Don Staley. She said it, one of the GOATs. Think about it.
to be, oh, Caitlin won X amount of games or Caitlin scored X amount of points. It's, you know, I hope it's what I was able to do for the game of women's basketball. I hope it is the young boys and young girls that are inspired to play this sport or dream to do whatever they want to do in their lives.
So there you have it, folks. You have it being discussed about Caitlin Clark being one of the GOATs, even when she was at the University of Iowa. One of the GOATs. So who is Caitlin Clark? Well, we do know that she has a family. She comes from Iowa, went to high school there in Iowa. she had the family, but her coach, even in at Dowling High School, Kristen Meyer talked about her and her tenaciousness, her wanting to always be better. That's her coach from high school, Coach Kristen Meyer. Much love she had for Caitlin. And then we have, you know, other people in her life, her family. Do you know Caitlin? These are her brothers. I can't think of their names. Her brothers, athletes. I think they went to Northern Iowa. She comes from, I mentioned Dowling Catholic High School, a very faith-based family. I remember one of her brothers, they said, told Caitlin wherever she goes, make sure she goes to goes to school and maintains her faith that comes with, you know, loving thy neighbor as you love thyself. Love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Caitlin exhibits her faith, her love for other people, her compassion all the time. And and that's so important. Her siblings were so adamant about her continually to do that. But most importantly, folks, this is where it all begins. All of you have a mama and a daddy. Caitlin Clark and her parents. I just call them Mr. and Mrs. Clark. Every time I say Caitlin's name, I'm thinking about Superman, Supergirl kind of thing, even though Supergirl didn't have the same parents as Clark Kent. Oops. Isn't that amazing? Clark Kent, Caitlin Clark, put on her cape. Her parents, I do know her father, Brent. I can't remember her mother's name, but that's where it all began. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he or she should go. When things are used with the masculine of the he, it's actually inclusive of women also. Train up a child, cause children are both male and female, boy and girl. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old or older, he or she will not depart from it. The training that Caitlin Clark received from her parents, and you'll hear this in an interview I'll play in a few minutes, they don't forget that kind of training to be good to people. And I'm going to tell you right now that really, the thing that really bothers me that's been spread around that is so ludicrous. People constantly want to talk about Caitlin as being racist and all this, and she's not. She's not. Aaliyah Boston's uncle, he's a high school coach there in Iowa. He and I are very good friends. I mean, like brothers, we are. And Caitlin Clark, in the area where he coaches, is in the area of the city that, it's pretty impoverished, a lot of poor people, a lot of Black students. Caitlin, she's contributed to that community, helped people out. I just don't want to play this up, but I just want to tell you that we live no matter what. This is the 4th of July, and we talk about Independence Day. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, the Declaration of Independence was written not to include people that look like me. I'll go in another episode and talk about this. But you have people that are who don't look like me, who look like Caitlin and her parents, that show love and compassion toward other people. But we live in a country where the race card is constantly thrown out, constantly thrown out. We can't do anything in this country without talking about race, without talking about race. So here we go. We have Caitlin Clark and her parents training her up the right way. And I just want to share with you some things that have happened. I can bring this up here. And when I talk about race, I'm going to go on to this, Maurice, of of Keep the Vision, he shared this clip. I want us to watch this and see and how he presents this.
Easier by the day. You got Kelsey Plum exposing the reason that Caitlin Clark is so hated by all of these WNBA players is because she's popular and she's white.
Listen to this.
This is crazy. We got to get into it, man. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, hype the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We have got to get into things. There's been a lot of nonsense going on. The WNBA, the gift that keeps on giving. The clown show continues. Kelsey Plum went through a lot.
See, I want to just emphasize, think about this. Caitlin Clark has been attacked, pushed down, thrown down. You do not see this kind of treatment thrown about with the other Black females in the WNBA. People want to minimize and say this and say that. I said in my last episode, I grew up in an area, and if you let anyone that was white outshine you, well, you had to, get signified on. In other words, talked about and all those kind of things. And heaven help you, they start playing a dozen. That's another concept. But nevertheless, no one's going to tell me that a lot of these Black females aren't looking at Caitlin Color and saying that white girl can ball out, but she's not going to get away with this and do that. So I just want to make that, because we live in a country, too bad that in 2026 we still deal with race issues.
In her early stages in her career.
But listen to Kelsey Plum.
She pretty much put it out there why all of this is happening, why she was treated the way she was treated, why Caitlin Clark is being treated the way she's been treated after doing everything to change these women's lives in this league. The second Caitlin Clark got here, all these girls was on private jets. You got $1 million contracts, all types of stuff going on, TV ratings through the roof, ticket sales through the roof. She single-handedly changed the league herself, but all the players hate her. Kelsey Plum is going to tell you exactly why right here. Shout out to my bro Angry Fan Sports, because I first saw him talk about this.
But you say if you would have been the number 2 pick or 3 pick as opposed to 1, how do you think that would have affected you, staying in the league through struggles, or not at all?
I mean, I would have been still in the league because I'm a dog. Like, I would have found a way. I would have found a way.
No question.
I definitely think the expectations of being a number 1 pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of height or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% Black women that want to take your head off. Like, just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is. And I didn't.
Whoa. We got to play that part back.
It's just brutal. And then I definitely think the expectations of being a number 1 pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of height or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% Black women that want to take your head off. Like,
I don't think when you are coming in as a white girl in a league with 85% Black women who want to take your head off.
That's what I was going to say. But you're right. You heard what she just said, Kelsey Plum.
Want to take your head off.
Just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is. And I didn't know. Me, happy-go-lucky, walking into the locker room like, hey, like, I didn't know. I learned the hard way. But that's real. That's what it is. And I think that it would have been better in some ways because I would have been a little bit more under the radar. But in other ways, I definitely think that, having that type of struggle and adversity has prepared me for the moment I'm in now.
So she let it be known. When you come in here and you're white and you're popular, you got media. Oh, no, they don't like that. And the type of media Kelsey Plum had in comparison to Caitlin Clark is nothing. So that's why you see all the vitriol, all the hate, all the jealousy. That's why you see it. It oozes through their pores. And she let it be known. She somewhat dealt with this firsthand. She was the NCAA all-time leading scorer
Now
before
listen.
Caitlin Clark broke her record. She came into the league with some level of clout, not nearly.
So I want y'all to hear that. So we have a situation with Caitlin Clark, very similar to what Kelsey Plum said. She entered the league feeling that here I am with a bunch of black girls. That is, the league is made up, like she said, pretty much lesbian population. And Kelsey Plum and Caitlin both are heterosexual. They're not lesbian. Just gonna make it real. So we have all this hatred, this racial issue going on, and don't get it twisted. That's a big part of what's happening with Caitlin. So that she's this white girl that can just flat out ball. So let's look at. I'm going to continue with KTV and what he says. This is very significant here that he talks about this also, that is very important that I want us to look at here. He's dealing with. See if I got this correct. So I want you to listen to what he's saying. You have Caitlin plays on a team. She has another player that plays with the Raven Johnson. I want you to hear what is happening to Raven in terms of how she's being treated.
You see, here y'all go again. All of a sudden, we got all of this nasty work. Raven Johnson, black card. Her black card is being pulled. She's getting blasted by black people all over the internet for supporting Caitlin Clark making an all-star game. How ridiculous is that? You got these people blasting her online, talking about, oh, you're not black no more. Your black card is revoked. You're no longer invited to the cookout. All of this stuff because she supported a teammate making the all-star team. It's freaking disgusting. We got to get into it, man. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment,
just
subscribe.
bring it real,
share
fella.
the channel. Hit that bell
Come on, my
notification. Hype
brothers.
the video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We got to get right into it, man. This is disgusting. It's not even funny. It's not a joke. Some of y'all are actually the ones that's racist. I'm talking about people that look like me. Some of y'all are the ones that's actually racist. Some of y'all are.
Did y'all hear that? I remember years ago, people made a statement all the time that black people cannot be racist. And they said black people can't be racist because they don't have the power. It's based on economics. I agree that racism is very connected to economics, but when it hits a different level, when a black person is trying to go after someone because they don't look like them, that's from another culture. Remember, this is a podcast to deal with race and cultures, and I'll get into more of the politics on our next episode, how this is happening. But I like what he just said. They're racist, even though they look like him and somewhat like me. But I'm gonna continue this.
Y'all giving real racist vibes. Y'all are blasting Raven Johnson for supporting one of her teammates who made the All-Star game. It's ridiculous.
And what is so interesting, he's talking about other black people that are hating Raven Johnson. You'll see what she looks like. She's black because she's supporting Caitlin Clark, who's white.
Ridiculous, man. Let's not waste time. Let's get right into it. This is Raven Johnson supporting her teammates online. Take a look, man.
Caitlin Clark, my sister, my cousin, my auntie, my mamacita, my friend. Caitlin Clark, my sister, my cousin, my auntie, my mamacita, my friend.
So she did that in support of Caitlin Clark making the all-star team. As the Indiana Fever cut a video for Kelsey and Aaliyah and Caitlin. They all are all-star starters. And the responses that Raven Johnson is getting online is absolutely disgusting. It's disgusting. Look at this. Did aliens nap this girl and scramble her brain? I'm worried. Raven, please, brain fried. She's trying to survive that racist environment, so lie for the bigots or go home, or tell the truth and don't go home. Look at this stuff. Raven, we love you, but please don't claim the nameless. Raven, just stay quiet sometimes. I hate to say this. Look, these black people, right here. I hate to say this, but Raven is gone. I know you all still have a lot of hope for her, but she has chosen her side. Chosen what's it? Supporting a teammate, making the all-star team? What are we doing here? Raven, please. I mean, this is nasty. Never thought I would say, look, this is from Chocolate Latte Legs. Never thought I would say this, but I'll never cheer for Raven Johnson again.
You see it, folks. It's unbelievable that she is going, this young girl just got out of South Carolina, is going through this situation because she's supporting her teammate that happens to be white. Remember I told you how sports is a microcosm of society? Well, you see it right here. It's playing itself out. So I don't want to get it twisted. So who is Caitlin Clark? Who is Caitlin Clark? I just tell you right now, we have an issue going on that is not much fun. So let's listen from Caitlin. Ever since this thing that happened with Alyssa Thomas, Caitlin has been quiet. And I will always support Caitlin Clark. So people, I was going back personally because of how I am. I can speak the King's English. I can go back to the hood, so to speak. What's happening, brother, man? It's all cooking right, man. Ooh, let's go ahead and cook with me, man. We're going to do something tonight, No, what's that, man? Just chill with it. We can do that kind of stuff. But when you are just being an individual trying to show love, and you're loving other people who don't look like you, like Raven just did, some of the brothers and sisters want to throw things out at you. We're not going to support you. They did everything. I was surprised. They did everything on there. I was surprised about not calling her a Tom, a sellout, because she's showing love. Love thy neighbors, you love thyself. We know that there's bad people. I'm going to talk about the racist things that are going on, blatant racist things that's going on in this country now during the next episode. But nevertheless, right now, we're dealing with something that is so vitriol on the court of basketball. So what does Caitlin feel about all this? Let's try to hear what she says. This is her interview. She went back to practice, I think, Thursday or Friday.
Start. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, and obviously I haven't been available for like a week or so. So, first of all, I know what you guys are going to ask, and I did think it was a flagrant foul, and our refing just needs to be better.
Talking about the Alyssa Thomas.
It's tough. Obviously, the ref's on a really difficult spot. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, in my opinion, is to make calls. All you do is get yelled at the whole time by everybody. You're never winning. So I think for us, I guess the league's just got to do better protecting our players in that regard. I don't really think that.
She said immediately, it's the refs. I think Alyssa Thomas, in the moment, she saw Caitlin there and all these other things, clips came to her mind. But Alyssa Thomas hurt some other people. Nafisa Collier hasn't played yet this year because of what Alyssa Thomas did to her. But Caitlin is saying the refs.
Was up for debate. Obviously, it wasn't called in real time. You go back and watch the clip. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of been a discussion for like 3 years now, and I think we really need to do a better job protecting the people in this league. And, obviously I've been involved in a few of those plays, but there's been plenty of others across the league that, haven't got called, go back and post game or whatever it is, teams submit clips, nothing really changes. So I think overall the league just has to do better, and we have to invest in those areas. The technology can get better. We can treat the referees a little bit better, pay them like they're full-time employees.
No, see, no matter what you say, this young lady constantly is having compassion toward others, in spite of how the referees have been doing, not calling calls that are hurting her physically. I mean, I can't believe she has been in the hospital, stabbed in the eye, hit in the throat by elbows, and punched in the neck. And, she's shown compassion. The referees need to get paid better, need to get treated better. Come on, y'all. Don't get it twisted. This young lady cares.
I think things like that. And, I think a lot has obviously come after that. And as I've stood up here and said before, like the harassment, the hate, none of that is okay. That goes for the opposing team we play. That goes for my teammates. That goes for my coaches. There should never be question of character. Like I've always stood.
No hatred. That means racism. No hatred. That means bigotry. No hatred. That means sexism. No hatred. That means not harassing people because of their gender. No hatred. No hatred. No hatred. Coming from Caitlin Clark, a generational player. To me, the best player I've seen in years.
Up here and said that, and that's truly what I believe. That's how I was raised. So,
let me go back
none
to
of that is okay. And coaches, there should never be question of character. Like I've always stood up here and said that, and that's truly what I believe. That's how I was raised.
You heard that. I told you, train up a child in the way they should go. When they get older, they should not depart from those ways. Her parents brought her up that way, not to show hatred. She went to Dowling Catholic High School. I don't care what denomination you belong to. I'm a pastor too. Baptist born, Baptist bred, Baptist I shall be dead. But nevertheless, you love everyone. Maybe I'm speaking very idealistic and hopeful and looking for Shangri-La. But whatever it means, Caitlin is expressing it right here.
So, none of that is okay. And I don't want anybody to ever experience that. And, I think it can be really frustrating to me at times. And I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions. I have feelings.
Yes.
And it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And, I'm 24 years old trying to navigate a lot. And I think at times I've been in this world 4 years now, and you would never change any of it. But there are times that it is hard, and there are times that, it probably affects me a little bit more than I do put on. And, I would never change any of that for the world. But I think it's important that people do remember that part of it too. So, at the same time, it's really interesting to me because, even I turned the TV on Sunday, and that game was on Wednesday, and that's all people are still talking about. And I feel like that's just a real disservice to our league. Like and I get it. You talk about it. You talk about whether it's flagrant, you talk about whatever it is, but to continue to beat down, and then for the narrative to be taken other places, that is really just that's just really not acceptable. I think it's hard to see, and it's a disservice to my team, but it's also a disservice to the other teams in this league and other players in this league. There's so much amazing talent, and there's so many amazing players that are playing at an incredibly high rate. And I remember, I think it was Sunday or Saturday, whatever day that was. I remember watching them discuss it on TV, and I didn't know they were discuss it. I was just watching the other games because I try to watch as much as I can. And I just honestly felt bad for the players that were playing the games those days. And also I felt bad for my teammates. They played on Friday and they dominated and they played really well, and nobody wanted to talk about that. They were just worried about everything else. So, and there had been, I think 10 plus other games that had already happened to that point. So, I think it's all of our jobs to help refocus the narratives a lot of the times, and we can do better at that. And I think it'll help our game grow a lot more. And that goes for obviously the future and whatever. But at the same time, you guys are here in this arena every time we play. And the amount of people that are passionate and love the game and respect the other team and the young girls and the young boys that show up, like, we can't lose sight of that. And that's whether we're here at home and whether that's we're on the road. And, there's a lot of really, really great people that, love this league and love our organization. And, I'm thankful to be here in an organization that has my back and will always stand up for me. And, I think we can't ever lose sight of that. Like, the joy and the fire and the fun, like, that's why you play this game. And I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of my frustration. Like, I remember seeing a headline as like, and I don't remember who wrote this, and I try to stay away from social media as much as I can, but sometimes it can be hard. Like, I need to be aware of certain things. Obviously my teammates be aware of certain things. And it was like, the headline read like, this season has been everything but fun, and they're just full of frustration for Clark and the Fever. I'm like, no one ever asked me that. Nobody ever asked me that. Like, that's wrong. Like, they're like, discuss my play. Discuss if I played bad. Discuss.
You hear what she just said. Do you know Caitlin Clark? She made a statement there. Who has talked to me? Who has come to me to ask me my thoughts, my feelings of what I perceive as happening, and how do I feel about what has happened to me? People take a narrative, they run with it. Is everything perfect? No. But Caitlin just said, she read a headline, no one talked to her about anything. I'm just going to see a few more minutes of this.
If I played good, like, discuss our play. And I tend to understand those are things that need to be talked about. Great, whatever. But let's continue to move on and, things like that. And, but I think just focusing on the joy and the amazing course of this game, like I said, I think it's sometimes a disservice to not only our team, but to everybody else. And, let's get back to a lot more smiling and positivity. I think our world could use a lot of that. And then moving on, I know everybody's going to ask about my health. I will be out Sunday, but I'm feeling a lot better, excited to get back into practice today. And then feeling really, really positive about getting back into one of the games at the back-to-back. Obviously difficult coming back in a back-to-back, so we'll have to be cautious of that. But I feel a lot better. And like I said, excited to get back into practice. And this week has been very helpful for my overall health. So other than that, if you guys have any questions, I know I kind of just ranted for a while, but
well, you said it was hard or challenging for you to see the way people talk about it. What specifically would you say is?
Okay, I think I'm going to end it right there because you get the gist of it. Caitlin just wants to play ball, folks. That's what she wants to do. She's a hooper. That's what she wants to do. She wants to play ball. She wants to be viewed as what she sees as important. So, in spite of all this, what has happened to Caitlin Clark? So this is the month of July. We already, if you haven't seen it, let me just say another thing. Please like and subscribe to this channel, okay? And if you like to contact me, you can go to, let me see, the website here. This is the website, racecultures.com, racecultures.com to donate. This is a nonprofit, and we greatly appreciate anything you do to help us to reach out to others. We do use funds to help other people, clothing, so on and so forth. My wife and I also have a ministry, and a lot of times we have a channel for our ministry, Salt Ministry, Breaking Down the Walls, but with race and cultures, I mean, they kind of overlap sometimes, but nevertheless, that's how you can donate to this podcast here. Okay, so another thing is, who is Caitlin Clark? Well, we know in the month of June, in the 1 week in June, okay, that's not what I want. Okay, so we see what Caitlin has done. Okay, she's done a lot of wonderful things, and I just want to just share this with you. So here she was, June 16th. Okay, she was Player of the Week, 25.3 points a game, 4.3 rebounds. Man, she's a guard. And no, 6.7 rating. Player of the Week on June 16th. That's Caitlin Clark. And in spite of everything she's gone through, this is also a telltale sign about her greatness. She in the month of June, she's Player of the Month of the Eastern Conference. Player of the Month in June. These are her stats. I mean, you don't make this stuff up. It's a real deal. Of course, she already has broken the assist record in WNBA her first year. Just think about that. 45.6% field goal percentage, 8.2 assists a game, 4.4 rebounds a game. And trust me, if she hadn't been hurt that last game or had been taken out the game before, Caitlin's always on the edge of throwing out a 40 piece, 40 points a game. A Player of the Month. So this is Caitlin Clark. You heard her story, how she feels about herself in the league, what she wants to accomplish. So my question to everybody out there, what do you want to accomplish to make things better? You can make suggestions. Caitlin made an incredible suggestions about, we didn't hear it in here, but she made a suggestions that the refs should be getting paid better. She mentioned, how the WNBA refs are making $500,000 plus a year when those WNBA players are barely making $50,000 to do what they do. So I say, let's think about that. If money does create a better position. So let's see if Caitlin could have people listen to what she just proposed to make more things affordable for the refs to do this game. And I think that's very advisable for them to listen to that. Well, that's all I got. I know I went over today, but I had a lot of meat on this bone. Kind of a strange thing to say, thinking about 4th of July and barbecue ribs. But anyway, I hope that y'all are having a nice holiday. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. And until next time, God willing, I hope to be with you. And also do something kind for someone who may not even look like you or talk like you or be the same size that you are, or speak like you. I mean, do something kind for someone else, folks. You heard Caitlin say it, hatred doesn't need to be in the game. And I say hatred doesn't need to be in the game of life. God bless you. God keep you until we meet again, which will be soon. Just keep all the haters off. Keep all the haters away and just show love. Peace out.